Action aplenty coming your way on EFL TV this week. All thanks to Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, your local community dealer. As always, first up on EFL TV, we check in with the star member of the EFL's media team, Lauren Wood. Loz, welcome back.
Great to be back, Half, and great to have an episode with some very special guests later on.
Yes, looking forward to one of the biggest names in football at the minute joining us. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Now, I want to talk to you because I was coaching last week at St Kevin's and I wanted to find out the score of the Balwyn-Vermont game. Two great rivals at Balwyn Oval, Cherry Road. I couldn't get the score. I couldn't find anyone to get me the score. Couldn't text anyone involved because they're obviously involved. Is there a way you can help me out with that?
Well, first things first, everyone down at St Kevin's that should be watching this absolutely prime piece of television program should firstly be onto you for not concentrating on your own game.
Well, we were winning.
But second of all, you can get it pretty easily. We all know that the reality of the situation is, while our radio coverage does certainly get a lot of listeners, there's more of these floating around at the footy than there are radios. So we've entered the Twitter sphere and the social media and all that sort of thing. So any kind of smartphone, whether it's an iPhone, Android, whatever else all those things are, you can download the EFL's mobile app.
Can you?
If you go into your Safari, so get your iPhone out later, I know you've got one.
Yeah.
m.efl.org.au.
Right.
So I've said that very slowly, so you all should have written that down.
m.efl.org.au, yep.
If you download that to your home screen, that'll give you access to virtually the entire EFL website. So all the news, fixtures, ladders, results. Also, from the homepage, if you click on the social tab and then Twitter, so you can see that on your screens now. That'll give you every score from around the grounds quarter by quarter. So there'll be no more texting Joe and Richard and everyone else down there at Balwyn.
Outstanding. Where's this been?
Well, it's been around for a little while now, but obviously you're a little bit slow on the uptake, but we won't go there. But as I say, any tweet that's mentioned at Footy EFL, so all the punters around there that do have Twitter accounts, you can chip in as well. Everyone will be able to read whether they're quarter by quarter updates, live updates, goal updates.
Good idea.
Whatever kind of update, everyone will be able to read that. But the beauty of it is you don't actually need a Twitter account to be able to follow it all. So once you've downloaded the app, you'll be able to follow the feed.
So m.efl.org.au and I can find out everything.
That's exactly right.
Well, now that makes my world a whole lot easier.
Pretty
well
easy.
Done. Well done. Now, the EFL Eastlink Road Safe program is back in 2012. Tell me more about that, Loz.
It is. Phase 2's on the horizon. So all of our clubs would have done Phase 1, which was looking after our mates, which looked at, I guess, getting your licence and looking after your mates when you're on the road. So Phase 2 is being rolled out to clubs at the moment. So it features a great DVD with our friends at Hawthorn Footy Club. So there's 5 players in that one, including Sizzling Cyril. I know he's a favourite
Cyril,
of yours.
delicious.
Stephen Gillum, Xavier Ellis, Kyle Cheney and Liam Shields.
Yes.
So that's a great DVD that is, of course, supported by Eastlink, our partners in the Road Safe program. And make sure you look out for that one around at your club.
Okay, keep an eye on that at your local footy club. Now tell me, this week's radio coverage, 98.1 Radio Eastern, where are we heading off to with the caravan this week?
Well, you mentioned Cherry Road earlier, so the boys were pretty tempted by the 1 versus 2 clash in Division 1 between Balwyn and Norwood.
Good.
So they'll be up on the balcony there from 1 o'clock on 98.1 Radio Eastern. So they'll have an hour of pre-match until 2 o'clock with things kicking off from there. So they'll go right through till 6 o'clock, and you can also watch the live video streaming on the EFL website.
Which is an outstanding addition to the coverage, the live streaming. Get along to that and watch that on your computer if you can. If you can't be there at the game and listen to the radio at the same time, it is cool. Right, now, competition last week. We had a competition to win a footy. Who's our winner?
We did. You can see it. We get to do it again. It's
our favourite
thing to
there
do.
It is.
There it is.
Saw it. I knew
so
that.
There's our winner. And we were, of course, last week keeping with the theme of red now taking over the EFL, so they've won themselves a red Sharon.
Right, is there another competition this week?
Oh, you have to catch up with Ben later.
We'll talk to Benny about that a little bit later on. Thank you, Loz.
See you next week.
All the best. Always nice to have special guests on EFL TV, and today is no exception. One of the biggest names in football at the moment. I've seen him on Eddie Maguire tonight. He's been in the newspapers, he's been in the Record, he's just about everywhere. He's a former superstar with the Bombers and the Blues, and now wearing that silly colour as an umpire. Jordan Bannister joins us. Banno, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Daniel. That was a lot of lies in that introduction, but I'll take it, mate.
You are a very famous man. Now, this transition thing from player to umpire has made you a superstar. How is it sitting comfortably with you?
Mate, I think Newton's law, what goes up will come down. I know when that bad decision comes, I'm going to be hung out to dry. So I know it's coming, but I'm just preparing for it.
Have you had the moment when you're about to make a decision and you think, I'm not quite sure if this is the right thing to do? Have you had one of those moments yet?
My first game had North Melbourne and Essendon, and I come off the field thinking I've umpired the worst that any umpire's ever done in the history of the game, because the crowd were just on me for every decision. Then went home, watched the tape, and you kind of thought, oh, that's okay. So I suppose just getting used to the crowd reaction was the key at the start.
What's been the drive to do it? I mean, why did you get involved from the start? You're obviously a really good player, particularly at the Blues, had a really good career there. Why the umpiring decision?
I suppose I had about probably 6 operations at the Blues. Got suspended a few times. I just couldn't get any consistency with playing football. I knew Geesh and the AFL were looking for a player, so I contacted them, had a few meetings with Jeff, probably my last 2 years at Carlton.
Yep.
Went into their meetings, kind of seeing the pressure they were under, that they had, a huge fitness element to it, and I suppose Jeff just highlighted some areas that he thought I would enjoy, and mate, I just haven't regretted any step of it.
What are the skill sets that you have to acquire to become a good AFL umpire?
You have to be very calm. When you play, you're listening to heavy metal music, or you're trying to pump yourself up, get really aggressive. When you're umpiring, you have to be really calm. You have to just have a clear mind. So you probably
Kenny G on the iPod, just a bit of.
So people like probably Mitch Robinson, those types, probably wouldn't have a future in umpiring. But I suppose just the fitness element and just being pretty calm.
How different is it preparing? Preparation's an interesting point. Preparing to be an umpire on game day, apart from the psych up, psych down thing, as opposed to playing.
A lot of it goes into researching player matchups. Obviously, player names. You don't want to yell at someone's number when they're running off and you've got to give them a free kick. But player matchups, like who's tagging who. On the weekend I had West Coast and Richmond, so I knew West Coast had a tall forward line. So we're watching how they probably body up and just kind of just talking about it before in the game. But you don't want to obviously premeditate free kicks, but just kind of having a good understanding what might play out.
And is it a good environment? Do you like being a part of the umpiring fraternity?
Mate,
after bagging them mercilessly for years?
I didn't know what to expect. I probably just said yes to Jeff and didn't know what to expect, but I thought, you have this, idea that they might be kind of nerdy guys and things like that. But
they've got to be, don't they?
I could not say they are complete opposite. It's just like a footy club. We have poker nights. A few of the boys go out, have a few drinks. It's it's probably just not, written about in papers about what they do, but, they're just normal blokes who just love footy.
So is it something you've obviously come from the AFL system? Is it something guys playing local footy, maybe in the EFL, that can't play anymore for many and varied reasons, maybe the body shut down a little bit or just the speed of the game's too much? Is it something they'd get a kick out of being a part of still, staying involved in the game at this level?
Mate, definitely. A lot of guys go into coaching or just sit on the fence and drink a few cans watching.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that either, by
nothing, mate. My brothers and a lot of my friends do that and do that well. But I just think that it's if you're in a game and it's a close game and you're umpiring and it's the last quarter and the excitement and adrenaline you get just to kind of make sure the game's played out and the proper team wins who deserves to win, it's a really good feeling walking off. And I think that you don't understand that till you give it a go. You cop a bit of crap off your friends the first time you tell them you're umpiring, but once you get out there, you kind of get addicted to it.
And do you ever find yourself wanting to go and get the footy?
No, there's a few times where you're kind of 10 metres off a pack watching it and you've got the perfect sit and you don't get that much space when you play, or I didn't anyway. So, you miss football a lot, but it's definitely very rewarding.
And being, and the topic of the week in AFL footy has been tagging, being a man that was able to sit on a few players during his time and shut them down. Are you aware of what's going on tactically from the taggers out there?
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for taggers out there.
Oh, I bet you do.
No, look, I just... probably get told by our coaches that you'd only pay a free kick in that situation if it stands out to everyone. So I don't go looking for free kicks. If I see a guy with his arms wrapped around, I'll look out for it. But you get players who will complain during games and they're actually not being held. It's just a bit of body work. So you just want to make sure you're not calling soft ones, but people are also there to see the stars play. So you got to let them have a run at it. And
they love the boys in green as well. And we think you're doing a great job. And the grey sweaty pants are working a treat. Who knows? Someone out there in EFL land might think, you know what? I might want to be like Jordan Bannister because you are the poster boy for umpires at the moment. Well done, mate. You're doing a great job. Good luck with the rest of it.
Thanks, Half. Appreciate it, mate.
Jordan Bannister, our special guest on EFL TV. Righto, let's talk footy now on EFL TV with the EFL media manager, Benny Waterworth, who's back, big hair and all. G'day, Benny.
Hello, Harv. Very good to see you. I was just thinking beforehand, we've had the first 3 rounds. It's been a fantastic first 3 rounds of the season so far. And good to see some of those teams who struggled in the sort of the middle to lower areas of the divisions over the previous years start to match up with some of the big boys. So sharing it around. I like it in the Eastern Football League
I like it too. I think it's excellent. Now, Divi 1, speaking of the big boys, a couple of big games this week, but the one we're focusing on this now is East Burwood, and they take on Vermont, who are coming off a loss last week. 110th time they'll meet in their history. This is one for the ages.
This is one for the ages. Very fossilised style rivalry between these two teams. Did you know, Half, that actually 31 of the 50 Division 1 flags in the Eastern Football League have been won by these two sides.
Right.
So plenty of history between East Burwood and Vermont. I reckon East Burwood have probably gone under the radar, I think, a little bit to start off the year. Took Scoresby to a goal in round 1 and had a really good victory over East Ringwood last weekend by 5 goals. As you said before, Vermont, 60-point loss to Baldwin last weekend. You don't often hear 60-point loss in Vermont in the same sentence too often.
Not often.
So they'll be looking for redemption. Bit of the toss of the coin game. Looking forward to some of the midfield matchups. Marcus Carroll versus Ryan Mullett, two of the best EFL midfielders in the competition. And the new rivalry, Robbie Ross versus Robbie Campbell in the ruck out at, of course,
Yes.
Robbie Campbell going into East Burwood. I've been on the Vermont bandwagon for a while. I just think they've got the personnel that can take them to the next level this year. I'm sticking with Vermont, but I think East Burwood are a team to watch out for this year.
Coach Barlow will be happy with that summation for an Eagles win there against the Mighty Rams. Be a good game of footy. Now, Divi 2, another good game of footy. Donvale take on Murrelbach. Murrelbach undefeated. Donvale 2-1 at the moment. Do we find out if Donvale are the real deal at the end of this game, either way?
Oh, big time, because Murrelbach, clearly the sexy team of Division 2 this year, well, certainly pre-season, they were the team that everyone was talking up, and they've got an opportunity, Donvale, this week, to really give it to the sexy team, Murrelbach Half. I know you're all over that one. Donvale, not too many people at the start of the year would have said that Donvale would have been 2-1 after 3 rounds. So I think it's mainly down to Jack Purcell and Big Chief Ben Tawney. They've been in excellent goal-kicking form up in the forward line. Murrelbach really had to pull a victory out of their backside last weekend, a big 9-quarter third term, a 9-goal third quarter, I should say, Half, that got them over the line against Bayswater. Look, Donvale reserve, I give them every chance, Donvale, to win this game, but I think the midfield and the half-back line, particularly of Murrelbach, I'm really liking the season of Trent Giorgio so far. Has been in really good form. So Murrelbach for mine, but like before, I don't count out Donvale. They could be a team that could sneak up on a few this year.
Doesn't matter where you pull the victory from, Benny, as long as you pull it out of somewhere.
This is true.
Now, Divi 3, Baronia take on the might of Heathmont. The Jets are on fire.
They are. I couldn't have asked for a much better start for the Jets. 3-0. Having said that, though, they've only beaten teams who are currently 9th, 10th and 12th on the ladder. So they play Baronia this weekend.
Flat track bullies.
They sit 5th Baronia, but they're a team who's certainly been there in the top teams of Division 3 over the past couple of years. So a victory for Heathmont would be fantastic in terms of momentum for the rest of the season. They've got Darren Sheen in very good goal-kicking form. Remember Mr. Sheen last year, Half, he was wiping Division 4 clean. He's wiping Division 3 clean this year as well. Kicked 17 goals in 3 games, so he's off to a very good start. Just think that Baronia, the midfield class of Paddy Garrity and Jess Bolden, who really got them over the line against Mitcham last weekend, I think they'll come to the floor again this weekend and probably just give Heathmont a bit of a message to say, hey, we're the big boys of Division 3 here.
Okay, that is going to be a beauty, Mr. Sheen. You never cease to amaze me. Divi 4, the Basin take on the Eastern Lions 2v3. We talked about rivalries before with East Burwood and Vermont. This has got a bit of passion behind it too, this one.
Yeah, it does. It's one that's sort of bit from left field. I wasn't expecting this one. Saw a lot of banter on Twitter and a lot of banter in the club notes, actually, that came through during the week. So looking forward to seeing the results of this one. Eastern Lions, I like them, Half, because they're a bit like the Sydney Swans. You know what you're going to get from the Eastern Lions.
Right.
A good, honest contest, and they're a very team-orientated club as well. So hopefully they can continue that for the rest of the year. The Basin, though, I think they've really benefited from Glen Waverley Hawks and Heathmont both going up to Division 3, because now they're probably, if not the premier team in Division 4. So saying that, I think the Basin will win on the weekend, but the Eastern Lions are every chance with that team-orientated football. They'll give it a really red-hot crack.
Okay, it's going to be a great round of Eastern Footy League action again. Now, where's the caravan going, just to remind our listeners?
The caravan's not going anywhere, but we're going up to the top of the balcony there at Cherry Road. Baldwin again, taking on Norwood, 98.1 FM or on www.efl.org.au from 1 p.m. on Saturday.
What about the footy? Where's the competition this week?
The footy will obviously
happened?
go to our winner. So we don't have a competition this week.
What's happened?
Peter Luddick in the accounts office has put a lockdown on all stock in the Eastern Football League storeroom at the moment. So we'll save the competition, but tune in next week.
Pete, I am coming for you. We want a competition every week on EFL TV. Have a great weekend, Benny.
Same to you, Half.
Have a great weekend out there in EFL TV land. We'll see you next week.